What the hell are those?
They're helping the mosasaur defend territory, stalk, hunt.
None of what you just said is good.
Just have to start with you, Miss Scarlett Johansson, ma'am. North was 1994. You've been in blockbusters ever since. I know that you really wanted to be a part of this, but what was the day that had you calling home saying, I hate dinosaurs, I hate Thailand, and I just don't want to be in this jungle
Oh, I was like, where is this going? I would say every day we shot in Thailand was uncomfortable because we were shooting in the monsoon season. Lovely place, not the monsoon season is I would say the time you should not maybe go there.
We were welcomed with a mudslide. Was that the moment you called home?
I think the second day of shooting in the long grass, every time we had to get back in the grass, I was like, no. No. But then you're like, okay.
One of the
fine.
most sort of joyous, joyous sequences of running
Yeah, I was
through
gonna
grass
say,
actually was
yeah.
the most painful.
Yeah.
Everybody else, these are two tall men. Grass comes up to like here, which on me is like that.
Yeah.
And then the grass was
You just
very...
see just blonde hair.
I'm glad you suffered for your art, though, because you looked like a badass. It was so great. That sequence looks amazing.
It's not really fear or awe. It's actually pain, physical pain. But, yeah,
But
you
it's
could tell.
really good. Mahershala, sir, I will say on your side of it, where I don't know how you can look cool with like the boat moments.
Me either.
Do you have any tips for that? Because I will say, like, I don't know if anybody else would look so cool just like driving boats and nearly endangering children that way.
He looks
you
cool
know?
doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just grab the wheel hard.
I want to talk to you about the kids, though, because you have a great line where you say, I'm going to protect these kids. You're sort of like the reverse Alan Grant.
Papa Bear. I just thought of him as Papa Bear at a certain point. He's just always sort of concerned about the well-being of the kids and the family. You know, somebody's got to be, because clearly the father wasn't.
That mom is never letting anybody know this. Like,
Never.
no, never again. There's all these dinosaurs. The movie is terrifying. It was so scary. It got my like heart rate going. I didn't know that the world would have such a phenomenon about your glasses, though. Because I hear now you guys love the blooper reel of you like window washing it. This is what I've heard.
Yeah, no, unfortunately that would be slightly cooler than what it was. I kept losing my glasses with my extreme head twists. And there was one sequence on the boat where they flew into the abyss.
He'd do the action, then look at the camera and go,
Just to remind them that they weren't there.
And we're going to
Just
get a
in case they
blooper
didn't see
reel
it.
of it, yeah.
oh yeah, it's
I'm
maybe
sure it
the
does
greatest
exist.
scene captured on film of all time.
Now, I'm going to start with you because you play the father figure. It's kind of the worst time to be a parent because you want to protect your kids, but there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So how did you approach that with this one?
Most of it is on the page. The amazing writing that David, the script, and it's there. And when the script is well written, it gives you so much. You're reading it, and all of a sudden, right away you start seeing images and feeling stuff. The talks with Gareth, but especially with the family, like just being present, seeing there's such good actors, Luna and Adrina, that it was just being present with them. There's a scene where little Adrina sees a dinosaur and her face of fear is so amazing.
Yeah.
And I was feeling that all the time. There was an instinct of me of just going to protect and always, So she made it very easy.
I would imagine. Is there anybody in your life that you think about when you have to be as annoyed as you are with David? Is there somebody that you sort of like call to be like...
No, again, he did such an amazing job that
It was just David.
easy to hate him.
He was...
Easy to be annoyed by him, yes.
Yeah, and to the same respect, your character is a pharmaceutical executive. We knew where we were starting to begin.
We're already
with.
in that place.
So what was your favorite part of what you got to do with the character?
I think sort of watch the devolution, if that's it, of someone who starts out professing to want to kind of help the world, and let's just say maybe his ulterior motives are revealed as the film goes along. Seeing how karma works
Yeah, that's a great one. There's a lot of action in this. Both of you have some pretty incredible action sequences. You have the raft sequence. That was a lot of shooting.
It was a lot of shooting, and the funny thing is that we actually shot it in pieces. Some parts in Thailand, like in this real lake, beautiful landscape. It was really something. Then some parts we shot it at the end of the film in London at this, how do you call it, like a fake rafting where they train for the Olympics.
Yeah, what is that place called? Whitewater Center? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, you know, to shoot something and then 2 months after to keep shooting that scene. But it's so great, and I think the fans are responding so well because you know it was that scene is on the book. So,
Yeah.
And they were all expecting it to be in one Jurassic, and finally it made it.
David finally got his scene. Yeah. No, you originally put it in that one too, which is so cool. Rupert, for you, sir, did you get to do stunt driving? Like what?
Yeah.
What was the sort of the task for your action sequences?
There's a big getaway moment where, you know, I get to drive a Jurassic Park Jeep, which is, you know, kind of bucket list thing anyway. But this is not even like the ones we've seen. This is kind of souped up into a kind of military Hummer Jeep hybrid. You could even say mutation of a Jeep. And tearing through the forest in Thailand. It was crazy. It was really wild. I love doing all that stuff.
One of the things that Gareth really talked about in this one is he really wanted to like up the scares, and he really wanted this to feel like terrifying, like the original Jurassic. How did he sort of tell y'all about that when you were, you know, getting ready to film this one?
I think he sort of let us get on with it. There's in the script some very kind of good descriptions of what we're encountering, and the fact that it's the 3 biggest dinosaurs of land, air, and sea. And we would get a sense of the scale, you know, if you were saying like, are we talking, you know, a kind of a taxi size thing or a hotel size thing? And that was helpful to be able to kind of really picture the thing in your mind.
Is there a good sort of like way to run away from the dinosaurs? Because y'all are
Quickly.
just running. Yeah, but more of like when you're actually filming on the set, like when you guys were filming in the convenience store, what's the trick to it?
With those ones, they did have crew dressed in black with a mask of the dinosaurs. Helps a little, yeah.
And then for you, when you're having to like literally be running away to whatever, is it just Gareth on the edge, like just yelling, like, this is when he dives at you?
Yeah, it's just that. I mean, there's nothing, it's sort of, yeah. And then, but trying to understand, okay, what's he doing to me? You know, in stages was important.
Now there's been new dinosaurs, and there's also sort of like the pantheon. Do you have a favorite dino moment that you're sort of like, this is my favorite?
I love the scene in the first one in the kitchen. That's just pure suspense filmmaking. It's wonderful.
I really fell in love with the little one, Dolores Aqualops.
Yeah.
I really liked it. She's so cute.
I have to ask you this because I just saw Phoenician Scheme, and I know you've been doing a few Wes Anderson movies lately, and Scarlett's in Wes Anderson movies a lot. I'm just curious, what do you think would be a Wes Anderson Jurassic film?
Oh, I'd love to see that.
You know what I
that'd be
mean?
so
Like,
cool.
what would
It'd be so cool.
do you think he would?
Stop motion, maybe. Like
Yeah. Like Fantastic Mr.
Fantastic
Fox.
Mr. Fox.
Brilliant.
That would be amazing. That style for a Jurassic movie? You
That
kidding
would
me?
be- that
Pitch
would-
it to him.
Pitch it to
Okay, I'll see what he thinks. I'll ask him.
I've seen it. It's brilliant. It's so scary. I'd heard that was like kind of a mandate from you for the beginning, is you really wanted to bring the frights back. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was like the first movie is very much a horror film sort of disguised as a family adventure, right? It scared the hell out of me, even as a 17-year-old when it came out. And so now everyone who got inspired by that movie and became filmmakers is now adults, and it's a lot harder to scare them. We sort of upped the ante a bit and kind of pushed the horror element a little bit. And I kept waiting for the studio to tap me on the shoulder and say, you can't do that. And they never did. I think because they felt the same way. But it's that kind of fun scare, like a roller coaster,
Yeah.
where when you leave, it's all okay. But everyone will actually, if if you came to Jurassic and wasn't scared, then I probably failed at my job.
No, you did not. Mandate achieved, if that was the goal. I will go ahead and say that. Like, I literally had like heart palpitations when I saw it for the first time. I was like, it was a lot. With that, I think, you know, you've done a lot of franchises, you know, with Godzilla and then also going to Star Wars and now this. Is there something that you learned through those ones that really sort of helped you in Rebirth?
There's this giant machine that makes these big blockbusters, and you have to sort of learn how to sort of embrace it. You know, and it can be an amazing thing when it's all working and it's all well oiled and all happening. And like, if you fight it, it'll just run over you. And so on this one, we had a very limited amount of time. Normally you get 2.5 years in one of those big films. We had 1.25 years, so we had like half the time because of the release date. And a weird thing happened, which is everyone has to go on their first instinct and no one can get in the way of it. We had a quote on the edit suite that said, art is when you have a plan but not quite enough time. And it basically rang true. It was like, I think everyone did their best work because they had a gun at their head. and I'm thinking of putting in all the contracts now that we have half the schedule.
Really?
Yeah.
You're mad.
Because it works, seems to do your best work when you're kind of up against it. Like otherwise you just procrastinate or go down dead ends and things.
You know what? You go ahead and do that, but I don't know if I would like that. But I do get the ethos, and you've already proved it with this one. I think another thing you definitely proved with this one is how you can seamlessly fuse practical and visual effects, which I think is something you've always done throughout your career, but I think this one really takes it to the height. What's sort of your philosophy for how you can do that in a big film like this?
It's a really simple trick. You just film in real locations. We went to Southeast Asia. We went to like the jungles of Thailand and mangrove swamps and waterfalls and everything else. And the actors were really going through those situations. That really helped, I think, the performances. And then on top of that, you've got these beautiful environments. So when you're sticking in the dinosaur, it's already looking great. One of the golden rules, like, we're going to go to a real place for everywhere we're filming. Like, we can't just try and do all this in the computer. It's like, it's got to be at least based on reality.
Scarlett talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, we all got a bit too close for comfort. There was scenes in a mangrove swamp where there wasn't time to go to the toilet ever because it took too long to get out and come back in. And so you'd be like shooting a scene, and suddenly these warm patches of water would start happening, and you'd be like, I don't know which member of the cast that is or crew. Like, we'll just keep going.
just ignore it and roll with it. We are in the jungle, quite literally. Also, I hope I'm not wrong about this, but I think I spied a few Spielberg Easter eggs, like, littered throughout.
Yeah.
I feel like Johnny Bailey gets his Indiana Jones moment. There's definitely, I think, some like Jaws-like visuals I've seen. How many of those did you put in there? There's a few.
Yeah, it was weird. I felt like, in a weird way, I was sort of like babysitting a child, like someone else's baby, and it felt like it was a Spielberg baby. And so, I don't know, just to make it feel more comfortable, I would just like give it Spielberg food and toys and stuff. And it just, whenever we had like, oh, we need to do this, you know, it would be like, well, what's a fun little deep cut Easter egg that people might not spot, you know? And I stopped doing it after a while, but the crew just kept going.
Yeah.
And I would be on set, and if you ever just like waiting for a camera or something, you'd be on set and you just look at a prop or something, you go, what's that? And you'd pull it out, and it would be some gag or reference. It's like at one point they're in this gas station. Any of those magazines, if you grabbed one, it's got something going on in it.